Hi, and today I'm going to be doing a horror movie collection review. You probably heard me mention it in my vlog that I love horror films and that they are my favourite genre. I'm just going to leave mini reviews of these films and see if you like them as well. If I haven't got any films in this list that you'd like me to watch, feel free to leave them in the comments. Let's get started. So film number one is The Exorcist. I thought I'd start it off with a horror classic. This film was really good. I don't find it scary. For its time, it is an excellent film to watch, and a couple of scenes are quite creepy even now. There's probably a lot of you who have already seen it, but it's a classic. Silence of the Lambs. I've kind of seen this film a couple of times, but I'm not really too remembering on it much. I know it's got Hannibal Lecter in it and cannibal and everything, and I thought that was quite good. And so yeah, it's quite a good film. 3. Candyman. I saw this one quite recently. This film was clever, and it definitely creeped my mum out when she was younger. Sorry for mentioning that if you're watching this video. Sorry. So yeah, this film is really good and quite chilling for even it's an 80s film. I know it sounds like I'm slating it, but it is really good. Right, Paranormal Activity. This is probably, from what I've seen, the best film out of the series. I haven't got the series, I just have this film, and I kind of liked it. I kind of thought that they may have showed too many of the night scenes and not much was happening. I know it was trying to, was it based on a true story? Well, anyway, some of it was quite good, and I remember when I was in primary that everyone was talking about this film. So yeah, got that quite recently as well. Alright, this film is amazing. The Babadook. Oh, Babadook? I don't know. Anyway, it's very clever because it's psychological. It focuses around like a children's book. However, there's a deeper meaning behind it to do with insanity and through grief. And it's a very, very symbolic film, and it's very dark as well. There's a certain scene in it that I hate to do with animals. Annabelle. This film was okay. Some scenes were alright, but I thought that it was very slow paced at the start, and then a couple of the scenes got, well, a couple of them maybe. The stair scene, but it's not good, but it's okay. The sequel to this, because this was a prequel to this film, The Conjuring. I love this film. This is one of my favourite horror films in this collection. I really recommend you watch this film. It is based off a true story, Ed and Lorraine Warren and their ghost investigations. Don't know why I can't speak. So yeah, this film is really good and quite frightening in places. It kind of almost turns into like a thriller near the end, but it's really good and it is really scary, and every time I've watched it with my friends, they've always jumped. My mum jumped when she watched it, and I certainly jumped when I watched it, and I kind of got a little bit scared from this film. Sinister. This film is also very clever, and I kind of like it. It's very disturbing with the Super 8 footage of the families that are just getting killed and it's being recorded. And I don't want to leave any spoilers in this one because it is very clever. I recommend you watch it and then you tell me what you think about it. Cave 39. I got it a few years back. It's not bad, and I thought it was quite good in places, and it's a very low budget film, but I think it succeeds. And even though it got a lot of bad reviews for this film, the acting in it it's okay. Even though some people say it's quite bad, I thought it was quite good. I didn't like the scene with the insects. It's also a psychological film. And speaking of psychological, that sounded so cheesy. Anyway, Oculus. This film I went to see in cinemas as well. This one messed with my head because it tries to mess with reality through illusion, emphasised by the Oculus inside of a mirror. And it lapses over 2 timelines from this main character's past and present, and how it interlinks. And it just becomes a good thrill ride of investigations behind this mirror and the ultimate trauma that it tries to bring to us people. And you don't know whether it is illusion from their minds or whether they are being manipulated by a demonic force that lies within this mirror. It is really good to watch, especially with the score. The Woman in Black. I kind of like this film. For a 12, it is quite chilling, in my opinion. Some people say, not really. Some people go, jump right out of the skin at every single scene. I liked it. I thought there may have been one too many false scares or too many jump scares in it, personally. It is a really good representation of a gothic horror film. Next film in the list, Orphan. I love this film. It's a horror slash thriller, and I couldn't stop watching it. Every time this girl was causing trauma towards the families and the kids, I just wanted to know what happened. It was a thrill, that beginning to end. Absolutely love this. Very dark in places, with like bludgeoned to death and trapping and torture, all caused by the little bitch. Saw. This is my favourite out of the series. I only have this one on DVD. Don't know why I'm in a mood. I only have this one on DVD, and I have seen the others. My favourites are Saw and Saw 3. They're the strongest for me. Saw 2 was okay. Saw 4, then I just kind of ended up watching it just to see how they died. A couple of the twists were alright, but nothing beats the original, and this is really good. I was watching it, I was trying to piece it together, bit by bit, and the twist at the end, didn't see it coming. And there's not actually that much gore in this film, even though it's called Saw, and then the other films rely on too much gore, and then it just becomes a money-grabbing film. But this film is class. This film was okay. I got this from a friend. Not as much gore as I was expecting in it, but the scene, well, as hinted through the front cover, was very disturbing. It was like some sort of ritual with this naked woman hanging and just down the back with a sharp blade was piercing through the back of the skin. Ugh. But overall, it was okay. A couple of the scenes were alright. Very weird film in places. Right, let's bring us on to the franchises. And let me start with one you probably all heard about from a teen horror. Final Destination. I like this film. It's my favourite out of the series because it's the darkest. You're probably noticing that I kind of like dark films. What does that say about my mentality? This film, yeah, it kind of put me off going on planes for a while because, well, as you probably heard it anyway, Flight 180, it blows up, he has a premonition, and then they'll cheat death by getting off the plane. To work out how to cheat death so it doesn't come for them straight away, and it's a good thrill ride. I like this film. The second one, this one I also like because it ties in very well with the first one, and some of it is also quite creepy. Some of the deaths are a little bit far-fetched, but overall, it's a good film. Final Destination 3. This is where it starts to get a little bit, like, not cliches. Cliche the word? I like the idea of the death being hinted through pictures. I like that. And I don't know, it didn't fully live up to what I was expecting it to be, and this is where it goes right downhill to the worst in the series, The Final Destination. This film is shit. I'm sorry, I hate this film. From the crap acting, to the badly done CGI, to the it just doesn't work, and hence why it's 3D. Cinemas are trying to grab the money from the public as they can for just a cheap film that makes a lot of gross. So I wasn't too keen on this film, and it comes with 3D glasses inside. They didn't even work on the TV, so that was a waste of money as it is. Shit film. It's alright just watch now and again, like, for the sake of it, but why would you? And it hardly even ties in with the other ones. This one, the last one in the series, this was a big improvement. I like the twists that they had in it, I like the new concepts they put in, and I like the idea how it all ties together. Plus all the eye surgery scene. Right, here comes my two favourite franchises in this list. We'll start with Insidious. This film is amazing. I like the idea from the paranormal aspects of this family just being tormented by these like entities, and the ultimate torture it brings to them, and also from the absence of the child, who you think is in a coma, but he's elsewhere. And I like the idea how it resembles on that idea of astral projection, because some people can do it. This place might actually exist, this further that is mentioned in this film. Some people say that they don't like the second half of the film when Josh has to go into the further to find his child. For me, I love that bit. I love the whole film, beginning to end. I always watch this film like whenever I've got free time or something. I love this film. It's my favourite out of the series. Definitely watch it if you haven't already. Chapter 2. I like Chapter 2. Not as much as the first chapter, and not as much as the third chapter. But it's my least favourite out of all of them, but I feel bad saying least favourite because I still really like this film. I do think there should have been like more scares in there, but it focuses directly from where the first one ended, right back to this film. And it's just mostly like a continuation, really, of the series. And I like the way they tie it all together, and I like the way that they have introduced like the new people and the backstory. I wasn't scared in this film. A couple of the scenes were a little bit creepy, I have to admit, but very good. It's more of a thriller, really. A very, very good thriller, beginning to end, ties in very well. I recommend you watch this. Chapter 3. I saw this in cinemas quite recently, and I walked into the cinemas with. I wasn't really expecting too much from this film, with it being a third chapter. You know the series, don't you? You know how it goes. Yeah. But I was very surprised with this film. This film I loved. Not as much as number 1, but just not as much as number 1, but a bit more than 2. I love the idea of her like being injured and she can't move, and then the idea of this man who can't breathe just watching over her and when she's sleeping and causing harm to her and she can't do anything about it. That got to me. And it's a very creative villain, I have to admit. Very good writing in this film as well. I do think there may be like 1 or 2 mini jump scares here and there, which is why I put it a bit lower than the first one. And apart from that, love this film. This is also one of my favourite films as a franchise, and I used to be obsessed with this. Scream. I love Scream. It is so creative, so clever. I love the way how it bashes the horror franchise, but does it in such a creative way that it's just class. The first one is my favourite because it starts the whole thing. It just redefines the horror genre. It is amazing. The second one is also very good, but nothing in my opinion can beat the first one. That is just pure gold. Scream 3, the weakest out of the 4 films, but a couple of it's a little bit like, here and there. However, it is still very good as a trilogy, and definitely worth the watch. And Scream 4, I actually thought this was quite strong considering it's a 4th film. I like this film very much. The way it all ties together and the twists, even though it's filmed like 10 years later than the Scream trilogy. This ended like 2000, this was 2010. It still lives up to what it did 10 years ago from the originals. And, well, it would be, wouldn't it? It's Wes Craven directing it, who's sadly no longer with us. So, yeah, there we go. That's Scream. And that concludes the video for today. Thank you for watching, and if there's any films here in this list that you haven't seen yet, or if you agree with me on anything, please feel free to comment, like, share, or subscribe to my channel. And if there's any films that I haven't got and you would really recommend me to watch, please feel free to comment down below. And I will try and get to watch them when I have the time, because I'm in college now, it's getting busy with work and everything, but just leave a message and I will find time to watch them and I will comment back. So yeah, I hope that's given a bit of an insight into what I like in my films, what films I'd like to watch in the future as well, by looking at this, just thinking, ooh, what else could I watch as well? And just broaden my knowledge of these horror films, because I frankly think horror is just my favourite genre. It is just amazing. I mean, some films fall very flat, however, most of these films in this list I kind of like. So, from that, you could probably guess I really do like horror, and I hope, you do too. And I also have some comedies in there, I also have some thrillers in there. Also as well, if you want to comment on other genre films I should do next, go ahead. And this has been my video for today. Thank you for watching. Sorry about that.